New Year. I would appreciate you turn off your cell phones as this meeting is being recorded. Ellen, can you please do our roll call?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Ms. Callan Carson?
Present.
Mr. Carey? Mrs. DeRoberts?
Here.
Ms. Hernandez-Williams?
Here.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Ms. Walters?
Present.
Mr. Weiner?
Here.
Vice Chair, Mr. Lacavoli?
Here.
Chairperson, Mrs. Granato?
Present.
And Weathersfield High School Student Representative, Angelica Data. All present.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Maltesi, Mike Maltesi, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have student and staff recognition, and Weathersfield's always so proud of our students and our student athletes, and we believe we set them up to be athletic scholars. So tonight, we honored them with their athletic achievements. Michael?
Thank you, Chairperson Granato, Mr. Emmett, and Board of Education for having me tonight to go over our fall sports for fall of 2024. I would just like to say, as we get started, we're waiting on the screen, our fall sports actually started last June. I was talking to Ms. Daigle out in the crowd here earlier, but last year the CIAC, the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, adopted new protocols and procedures allowing schools to work with student athletes over the summer. So we had some coach volunteers last year. We ran sessions twice a week through the months of June and July into the first week of August to prepare some of our student athletes for the fall season. With that, we had a very exciting and rewarding fall sports for our student athletes, and thank you again, Chairperson Granato, for that. We really want to put an emphasis to our kids, to our families, that they are students first, and then athletes and representatives of our high school in addition to. So I'd like to take you briefly through our fall sports season, which I thought was, again, a very successful one. Again, and I know everybody on the board, Michael Maltesi, Athletic Director at the high school. I do have an administrative secretary, Ms. Bellis, and an athletic trainer after school supplied by Hartford Healthcare. We've been lucky enough to keep Crystal Creasy on board for over a year now through Hartford Healthcare, and she's been a great addition to our staff. We are vibrant and alive on social media with a Twitter account, Instagram account, and Facebook account, along with a pretty extensive website. And I just would ask anybody, whether it's in the crowd watching at home or on the board, if you take some time to look at our website, we do offer up a lot of information for our students, parents, and community. Again, there's a lot of benefits in high school interscholastic athletics. Probably first and foremost is an opportunity to represent your school and community, along with working on goal setting, on teamwork, your physical fitness, spirit of competition, and leadership skills, which I'll talk about in a little bit in one of our new initiatives at the high school. We had a pretty large turnout again for our fall sports with over 350 student athletes making our teams. Unfortunately, we did have to make a few cuts in a few sports, but again, that speaks a little bit about competition and internal competition here at the high school with some of our fall sports. So through that, we have student athletes on cheerleading, cross country, dance, field hockey, football, boys golf in the fall, boys and girls soccer, swimming, and volleyball. Again, for those watching at home, really not up to date on some of our offerings at the high school, we offer cheerleading, boys golf, cross country, girls cross country, dance team, field hockey, volleyball, boys soccer in the fall. With that, we are very lucky, and again, a supportive community, supportive Board of Education, to be able to offer sub-varsity programming at all of those levels, including some freshman sports in the fall in boys soccer, boys football, girls volleyball this year. So we had over 20 different teams available for our kids here at the high school this year. With that, our varsity teams performed pretty well. Our girls soccer team, it's their 4th straight Central Connecticut Conference Championship, and they captured that with a home tie, actually, with our rival Newington the last week of October. Our girls swimming and diving actually won their 16th straight Central Connecticut Conference Championship, and they had a little fun with their underwater camera for that photo there. Our football team, after a difficult but an opportunity to learn and reflect season last year in 2023, where they went 0-10, came back first week of January with almost 98% attendance in our weight room throughout the winter, spring, and summer to put our boys in an opportunity to be competitive again this year. They went 9-1, earning a share of a Central Connecticut Conference Championship. So I just talked a little bit about just grit and determination for 80 or so young men that we have. And we had a lot of post-season play. So while the regular season started really end of August with our golf and cross-country teams, it continued well into October and November, and even into December this year with our football team. Our girls and boys cross-country teams both qualified and participated in the CCC and CIC championship meets. Our boys golf qualified and participated in both meets as well, and actually held a number 2 state ranking in Division II for a majority of the season. Girls volleyball qualified for both the conference and league tournament. That's the 2nd straight year to qualify for both of those tournaments. Not every team is afforded the opportunity to participate in these tournaments. You have to earn this with a conference record and overall record. Boys soccer and girls soccer, again, very lucky to have a supportive soccer community in Wethersfield qualifying for tournament play. Field hockey went to their 3rd straight quarterfinal with an upset victory over Bethel earlier in November. And as I had mentioned earlier, football qualified for the Class MM tournament after an 0-10 season last year. So certainly a chance for kids. This is what we talk about in the classrooms. We talk about it in the weight room, in the locker room. There's always tomorrow. We're going to work ahead. We're going to work to get better every single day, and that's what those boys in particular, I think, did. Our girls swimming and diving team were the North Meet Invitational Championships, so to add that onto their divisional championship. We had over 25 different student athletes recognized by our conference for all CCC selections, and we had 11 students recognized for all state recognition, and in the areas of girls cross country, field hockey, football, boys and girls soccer, and our girls swimming and diving program. So a lot of individual accolades, well deserved by the Wethersfield Eagles this year. Nora Bangs in girls volleyball recorded her 1,000th assist in her varsity career, and we honored her at a game this past year. Sophomore Alexa Nunez actually qualified, not only being an all-state athlete, but qualified for the New England Championships. We're only, I believe it was 25 student athletes in Connecticut with that honor and opportunity. Milena Brodowitz, one of our girls swimming and diving athletes, the pool record holder now in the 500 freestyle. So that's 20 laps. She broke a 38-year record in Wethersfield High School. If you have an opportunity to make it into the natatorium at some point, you'll notice that most of our records have been broken over the last 10 or 15 years. I talked about that 16th straight league championship. Coach Schwartzman has done a phenomenal job there. So breaking records is getting more and more difficult, and it's being done by recent graduates and alumni. But congratulations to Milena on that almost 40-year-old record that was up there on the board. And Cam Riggy, one of our student athletes on the football team, earned all-state recognition, but also a special honor by the Connecticut High School Coaches Association, being in what was called the top 26. So in addition to just all-state, they ranked the top 26 players across the state, and Cam being one of those athletes there. And finally, in our individual accolades, Dana Miller, one of our divers on the girls swimming and diving team, was a North diving champion. But we do a lot more. I like to think we do a lot more other than what's on the court in the natatorium or on the field. I'm very proud of that. This is the second year Weathersfield, one of our initiatives has been being involved in the CIC Class Act program, where we look to hold ourselves accountable. And when I say we, it's the athletic director, our coaches, and most importantly, the student athletes. And we take a look really weekly at what we're doing on and off the field and where we can make areas of improvement. And the key focus there is on sportsmanship. We have developed what we now call an athletic leadership council. Last year, it was a captain's council. We felt those captains are already fulfilling some leadership opportunities. It's a great chance to give some other students and some younger students, sophomores and juniors, an opportunity to be leaders as well. So through our We Connect program, one of the sections, Coach Boudet and myself, along with Mr. Kokomo in the in-school suspension room, we run a leadership council now with our underclassmen and some seniors during the fall. We took our students to the AquaTurf in Southington for the CIC Sportsmanship Conference, where we were awarded one of the Michaels Cup Jewelers Sportsmanship Awards for this coming year, based on our new initiatives being new to the Class X schools last year. And again, not every school is afforded this honor. It was something earned that we had written an application for. So we congratulate our student athletes there, and we were presented with this at the AquaTurf. Our league also recognized us. This is being recognized by other coaches from other towns in the areas of boys soccer, football, and boys swimming and diving this year for a sportsmanship award. And we'll probably display those in our trophy cases in the athletic department throughout the school year. We talked about the leadership council. We talked about our captain's council. And again, we were able to leave the school grounds one day. We took the kids up to the Stores Adventure Park for some leadership and some fun. So if any of you had a chance to do any ropes courses, I certainly would challenge you to take to try it. These kids are a lot more athletic than I think it looks. Certainly a lot more athletic than I am nowadays, and we just had a lot of fun. But it's a chance through a grant to be able to take some kids and try some different, different challenges. We are, again, proud, I've used this word already a number of times here, to have such a supportive community. We are now into our 24th year of running the 9/11 Memorial Soccer Tournament that we do every Labor Day weekend. Ms. Keene, again, with the Keene Foundation, and Mayor Lesser were there. We had Ms. Coffey, one of our school guidance counselors, whose brother passed away during that tragic event back in 2001. Now her daughters are part of our program, and they sing the national anthem and God Bless America every fall as well. We have volunteers from throughout Connecticut, all of our referees that day. We run 8 different high schools come. We play 3 games each, so over 24 games that Saturday in early September by volunteers. Volunteers across the state, volunteers across our town of Weathersfield here. And there's a picture of the kids having a great time walking off their last game. We even bring back, again, that's Mr. Kokomo, who works at the high school, also coaches in another town, but he brings his team back. He participated in it as a player back in the early 2000s, and now as a coach at rival Tolland. Thanksgiving football was a community event. And if you had an opportunity to come root on our kids and support the cheerleading team, dance team, and band, you know that this game was one for the ages. We beat Newington to advance to the state playoffs and also take a share of our league championship. Probably about 2,500 to 3,000 spectators that night surrounding Catone Field. So I just have a couple of quick pictures to show some of you if you didn't have an opportunity to make it to the game. Again, we beat Newington in overtime on that cold November night. Again, we're supporting a unified program this year. This past fall, we ran unified soccer and unified cornhole. We are in unified basketball as we speak, and we're looking to bring back unified bowling in March for some of our athletes and peers. So we had a lot of fun on Thursdays. Our community also supports all of our seniors. So not only do we post information about our kids online through our social media platforms, that's an example of one of our posts for our 2 volleyball seniors, but there's a lot of decorations around the school, on the grounds, and in the gymnasiums and pools for our kids. So the parents the alumni really want to support and pay tribute to our seniors and what they've given to our school over their 4 years. Again, this is our 9th year running some Pinktober events throughout the high school, and those of you who know a little bit about Pinktober know that it's really to raise awareness around and raise some funds for people who have suffered through breast cancer. So we do a lot of different activities during that month of October within our program and with our other schools that come to visit here in Wethersfield. This is the 6th year our football team has been involved in tackle literacy, and our football team enjoys this Wednesday, second week of October, where we go out to the 5 elementary schools and read to all the classrooms. So there's a couple examples of our student athletes there reading, and you can see all eyes are on those kids at all times. They are superstars in some of our youngsters' minds, and they really are. And this year, this fall, we've had 3 student athletes already commit to a college. Julia Daly will be playing girls soccer at the next level, Cam Riggy baseball at the University of Connecticut, and Emily Schneider will be playing both field hockey and women's ice hockey next year. So we had 3 students already announced. We have a few more that have put in their paperwork for next year, and we'll be honoring them coming up in late February. Before I close out today's presentation and take any questions from the board, I would like to give one special shout out to WHS senior Luke Kraut, who's our voice of the Eagles. The number of hours he has volunteered to our programs over the past few years is countless. He's at every field hockey game, boys soccer, girls soccer, football, volleyball. He's currently at basketball right now, volunteering his time as our PA announcer. He does work for pizza every now and then, but it's just been a joy to work with. We've had a number of students that have come back and I've talked to that are either now out of college or still in college, working in this field, in the communications field, at the Rockcats, I'm dating myself a bit, at the New Britain Bees, at the Hartford Yard Goats, and some of our minor league hockey teams here in the area too. So I think Luke might follow in some of those footsteps. So I just want to publicly give him a shout out and a big thank you. And again, thanks to a lot of people behind the scenes who make my job easier, starting with Mr. Emmett, my building administration, Mr. Donahue, Mr. Gazaka in the Stillman building, along with a list of other people. So thank you all, and thank you, board, for giving me the opportunity to work with these great kids every single day at Wethersfield High School.
Thank you.
Awesome.
What a great fall you've had. That
We
was
did have a
really
great fall, so
spectacular.
we're going to try to
Anyone-
keep it up.
Yeah. Anyone for comments? Go ahead.
Want to go, Jim? Go ahead.
Thanks so much, and it's just a tribute to the school and to the community and to everyone to have all these programs and the game Thanksgiving. It was just, if you stayed till the end through that cold, it was just tremendous. It was just unbelievable. All the people just, I know they weren't supposed to be rushing out on the field, Mr. Emmett, but it was so exciting and made made the whole community proud. So
Thanks, Jim.
thank you.
I just want to say thank you as well. I know my kids have been in the sports programs at the high school. My son's playing basketball right now. And you as a leader in the school as well, like you're always there to troubleshoot anything that is happening. I mean, you're a man of many many ideas, tools. You'll figure out any problem, and you just do it with such a positive force about you. And it's just, you just know that you're always there, and I always feel comfortable and like know that everything's going to go right with any situation at a game at the school. And I also want to say, just listening to everything that happened in the fall, I just feel like I almost want to go take a nap. There's so much happening just in the season, and already we have a ton of winter sports happening. And I just would encourage people who don't have kids in schools anymore or never did, just to come out and watch some of these games, because they're super competitive, they're fun to watch, it's a great community effort watching these kids, and it's an inexpensive way to see what's happening at the high school. So I encourage people to come out to some of these games.
Yeah. Anyone else? Janice?
I just think it's so impressive, the opportunities that you have for leadership and responsibility. And I just think of, these young people who have taken this on, going through college with that same attitude, with those values that have been instilled and through life. I think that's really impressive. It's so much more than sports.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, being involved in this Class Act school has given us a lot of different ideas, opportunities to talk with other schools at some of these conferences or some of our Zoom meetings now. And again, there's always room for improvement. We're always going to try to make our programs grow and do as great of a job as we can. So thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, Mr. Maltesi, a heartfelt thank you. I've had the honor and privilege of working with you for quite a number of years, and I get the behind the scenes of what goes on, whether it be 8 o'clock in the morning on Labor Day weekend, carrying ice down in the cart, dealing with the trainers, dealing with leaks in the gym, whatever it may be. You deal with it with style and aplomb, and I think that our students and our community are all the better for your efforts. So I just want to say thank you very much for everything you've done to ensure that we have top-notch athletic programs. And it's not just athletic programs, it's leadership. It's all about the kids. We do what's right for kids. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Anyone else, Liz?
I couldn't agree more with everything that we've all shared, and a couple things to pivot from. So with the leadership opportunities, I really do think that our student athletes see the benefit of participating as a team member, getting feedback, trying their best, sometimes losing, regardless of what that is, and the grit that you mentioned, kind of coming back time after time. They'll see those benefits forever and ever, and they will always draw back on those experiences. So thank you for creating those for our kids. And when I say creating them for the kids, the way that you organize the busiest, I can't even imagine all of the different things that you have to manage on a regular basis. I will recall shoveling, I think, the turf field at the high school for the field hockey state tournament one year was because we had snow, among many others. And I thank you very much for all of your help. The other thing I wanted to share is another student, Bella Tomeno, who graduated, is now working with the UConn communications department in athletics. She's now part of a podcast called Locked In, and she's doing play-by-play announcing for basketball and football. Football, she was doing it, and it's available through the UConn radio station. So
Yeah,
a
I
lot
believe
of
Bella, and I talked to her father, I was involved in the bowl game a couple
Yes.
weeks ago at
Fenway.
Fenway Park.
Yes.
So Bella was working in communications there. Jimmy Clark, if you know the name, has been involved in a number of local professional organizations, along with Josh Barbara through Deane College. And I know Josh had a big interview that was made public with Danny Hurley last year during his run. So those are just three off the top of my head that I know, involved in the athletic program at Weathersfield High School, not necessarily playing sports right now, but involved in the sports world. And there's just so many avenues, so many opportunities that all this provides. So it's well beyond the wins and losses.
Well, you inspire the kids and you create a positive vibe that obviously keeps on going. So
I'll try.
thank you for all of your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. That was excellent, Mike. As this is going up, I just want to thank you again, and also thank the Weathersfield High School for all the support they give you and the Weathersfield school system and our community. I think people sometimes don't realize how valuable sports are, but how expensive they are too. So I appreciate all the support we get from the town.
As I said, it's well beyond me. There's a high school team, there's a Board of Education, there's an administrative team, there's all the elementary
Yeah.
school principals, and those, it takes a village, as we all know.
Yep.
I just happen to be sometimes at the right place at the right time.
That's it. But I also, there's a little feather in your cap here with the sportsmanship awards.
Those are nice to hear.
Those are excellent, because that's a whole human being out there. They understand the sport itself, and they understand the idea of sportsmanship. So congratulations, nice job. Okay, we'll continue with our meeting. Next on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes for our regular Board of Ed meeting on December 10th, 2024. May I have a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion, any issues with this? No, we're good? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Those minutes are approved. And also on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes for our special Board of Ed meeting on December 18th, 2024. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion?
A second?
Second.
Discussion? This is easy. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Those, oh, go ahead.
I wasn't there.
You're abstaining, okay. Thank you.
I also must abstain.
I don't think you have to, but it's okay if you want to. Okay? So those minutes are approved. And let's move on. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Please come on up to the podium and state your name and address. And may I remind you that we're limited to 5 minutes. And my other reminder is that board members will not respond to your comments from the podium at this time. Okay, we'll move on again. Michael, Mr. Emmett, you have some communications to share?
I do. Thank you, Mrs. Granado. Good evening again, everyone, and a Happy New Year. I just want to provide everybody with an update with regard to the Power School breach. We sent out a communication when that issue occurred last week. We had some surrounding towns that had sent out communications that spoke to the fact that it impacted all districts. We were a fortunate district that did not have any data compromised. So we did have a media inquiry I responded to. I will tell you also that this Friday, Power School is going to be providing a forensic report, so we'll get a better understanding of, how this vendor was hacked. Unfortunately, it's just the way of life nowadays. So again, a huge shout out to our IT team. They are diligent in making sure that the behind the scenes are with our network is secure. And again, they're very responsive. So Weathersfield was not impacted by the security breach. Again, I know there are other districts across the state, across the country for that matter, that are dealing with that. So fortunate, we dodged one there. So we are in the process now of developing the budget for the 25-26 school year. I had the opportunity to meet with our administrative team today, including all of our elementary principals, middle and high school principals, and department leaders to talk about their needs to ensure that we are covering everything we need. I did get a cursory number already from Mr. Kazaka with regard to the following items included, and this would be contractual obligations and a health insurance increase. Please note, we have not yet gotten the health insurance number from the town. Mr. Kazaka was utilizing a conservative 6% increase. So contractual obligations, a 6% health insurance increase, obviously subject to change pending notification from the town. The addition of an ELL coordinator, as strongly suggested by the Student Programs and Services Committee. The movement of a social worker from a grant-funded position. That grant is ending. That's our mental health grant at the high school. That position would roll into the operating budget. And then my request for 5 elementary level security guards in each of our elementary schools. Right now, we're looking at an approximate increase of about 4.25%. I will tell you now that in meeting with principals and with department leaders, the needs are far beyond that. So I look forward to carrying on the conversation, presenting the proposed budget, and rolling up our sleeves and doing the important work to make sure that we have a budget that supports our students for the future. I had the opportunity last Friday to meet with both Dawn Campbell and Kim Bobbin with regard to our YMCA Bell Scholar Program. Very excited that this program will be running this summer. We are anticipating it taking place at Hanmer Elementary School so that it dovetails with the Y Summer Program. Hanmer is the school that is licensed to house that program. So this program will identify a total of approximately 36 students that will get a full day, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Academic support program, which we think will be absolutely huge. We are going to open it up in terms of staffing to our staff. If they are interested, they would work for the Y, but would certainly bring a tremendous amount of experience. So we're hopeful that we can get some interested individuals, and see that through. Also, I do want to give a shout out and a huge thank you to the town of Wethersfield. With Mr. Maltesi's presentation, you might have seen some pictures of our wondrous fence. Mr. Riley, you made mention of it as well. The high school football game was among one of the best. I mean, it ranks up there with the baseball state championship, the state championship at soccer, the hockey championship, dance team. There's so many positive memories. I will tell you that the elation of those students pouring onto the field, it was great, but with that also comes the worry of somebody getting hurt. We have long asked for fencing to be placed around Catone that provides a barrier between spectators and athletes, and parents and athletes. So I'm very pleased to report that over the holiday break, the town did come in and did eliminate the ropes and traffic cones and actually put up fencing. It looks fantastic. It will greatly assist us in maintaining a safe space. It looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to see all of the middle schoolers up on a hill. I'll be coming as a spectator, little note. But to have everybody there and everybody participating, it'll be great. So again, a huge thank you to the town of Wethersfield, Physical Services Department, and our vendor that got that project done. It's a long time coming. So also, finally, I do want to make mention of the fact we are planning for the summer. It's my intention to make sure that everything is set and ready to go as we make the transition to the next superintendent. We'll be meeting later on this month with town officials to talk about what summer building use will look like. We do look to have our summer class program again. We have our partnership with the Keene Foundation to carry that out. You know, obviously, we have our special education programming as devised by student IEPs. That will take place at Webb. So, and we're also cognizant of the fact that the town will have some projects. We certainly expect that the Silas Deane chiller project will be taking place this summer. That is the hope. So we'll need to move some programs out of Silas Deane and move them to other locations. So there'll be more information forthcoming on that, but we're already planning ahead for the summer. So, and with that, it's communications.
Okay, thank you. I was just chuckling about the fence because you've wanted that forever.
Many years.
Yes. Okay, let's continue if I could find out where we left off. Tonight, we have no action items. Soon, we will have action items. Also, this evening, we do not have a presentation, but as I just said, both action items and presentations will be part of our meetings as committees and the schools get into our 2025 school year. But Board of Ed meetings held. We had a Community and Public Relations Committee. Marjorie, would you speak to that?
Sure. Yes, we had a community and public relations meeting on December 11th, and on the agenda was a continuation of the discussion about making some sort of document that parents can use on tips for phones for or smartphones for their kids, buying them, how to control them, parent restrictions, and then also working with Kim Bobbin and other people who are part of this whole Anxious Generation book club. A lot of people have been tasked or have agreed to kind of keep it going, and different schools are doing different things, different principals are doing different things, and different community members are doing different things. And one of the things that we wanted to do is, look at maybe some kind of communication or easy tips for parents on how to control what your parents see or your kids see on a phone, or how to, because a lot of times it's just so overwhelming, you don't even know what resources are out there. So we continued that discussion on a document that John Weiner started, and we're going to look at it again next meeting. And we also talked about the Board of Ed roles summary that's on the website that we had put forth in, I think, November of last year, and making it so it's maybe more visibly appealing with more slides instead of just a paper document that you kind of, a PDF that you look at. So Liz Walters has agreed to kind of fiddle with that, and also putting it in different languages, definitely Spanish and maybe some other languages that are prevalent in the town. And I also talked briefly about, some of us went to the CABE convention this past November, and this is where we kind of get together with other boards of eds and get some professional development. And part of it was seeing a lot of different publications that boards of eds or school districts put out to their community, whether it's just online on their website, or literally mailing it to people. And it could be just like a one-sheet newsletter or information sheet. But there were a lot of impressive ideas that I think we could also play with and maybe start doing something like that here. Some of them were information sheets like from the board chair and the superintendent. Some were from just the board chair, kind of outlining kind of what's happened the last quarter. Maybe it could be something similar to what Mr. Motesi did, where you kind of like outlining just kind of what happened this last fall, the pros, some exciting things, awards, whatever, just to maybe get more information out there from the Board of Ed. So we talked about that briefly, and that's more to come on that later. And then I think we last talked about another thing I hear from parents that they don't always know what the committees do, and some towns have a description about what every committee does, the purpose of the committee. So we talked about having each chair of each committee come up with a very small blurb about the purpose and the point of it, like community public relations, or what does a facilities committee do, and what does a budget committee do, like what's the purpose, why do they meet, and just to give a little information. That could be just a few sentences we add to our website, our committee website explanations. So that was it for.
Thank you. You're such good communication chair. Thank you very much. Our advisory school board committee, John, you're very busy.
Yeah, actually, there was 2 meetings, so 12/17 and then last Monday as well, so I'll give an update based on both those meetings. The building committee and our consultant partners, TSKP, are continuing to work and march towards a referendum. They're sharing their dates on their project plan and going through the different milestones. The biggest milestone that's coming up here, and there'll actually be a public hearing here in this chamber next Thursday, is in regards to swing space. And to clarify what swing space means, because I know there's a lot of conversation about this, swing space would be a building that would house students as their current school building is being renovated and or rebuilt. So there are 3 parcels of land. As you know, Weathersfield is short on land, but there are 3 parcels of land that are available for this. And the consultant is going to present that to the town next Thursday and have your thoughts. They are going to present what each site would look like schematically, which is really exciting, I think, for all of us to see. And I encourage anybody to attend there and voice their opinion on those 3 parcels and actually come and see them. The 3 in question are Standish Park or Stillman area of down in Old Weathersfield, Keisha Farm, and as well as our High Crest area. So come and see, come make some comments, and come and see how the progress is going. And that is it for building committee.
Thank you, John. We have a special Board of Education meeting on December 18th, 2024, and it was concerning a student matter. And Human Resources and Personnel Committee, Christina?
Yes, thank you, Bobby. We had a meeting on January 6th, and we discussed some budget figures to ensure that teachers can take time off and have good substitutes to ensure that students have security in the school and then continuity in their learning. Thank you, Central Office, for providing those figures. Those figures are high for the budget, and I'll touch upon that a little bit, in 1 second. Some concerns that were brought up with the surveys that were done in March were just some of the behaviors that sometimes are visible in the classroom. It's just stressful now to raise kids in our communities, cell phone use, so it's stressful for many people. We discussed maybe having even a civility code to ensure that we are talking to each other in an appropriate manner, that we're making decisions in an appropriate manner, having better communication with parents and schools, and all of that counts towards like just how teachers feel about coming to the classroom. We hear that a lot. Teachers are tired, it's stressful, but if we need to figure that out. It can't just be it's a school issue or it's a home issue. It's just we all have to take responsibility for that. And so that's part of HR. It's just making sure that teachers are wanting to come to work and not calling out and feeling supported. The Connecticut Paid Leave Act is something that came upon January 1st, and it's a wonderful benefit, but it's also going to be costly. And so that's going to have an increase in our budget. And we just talked about how we need social workers and we need money for our schools, but that is difficult to budget for those things, and that's the reality. And so this is something we take seriously in our committee, and we want to make sure that you guys know what's going on at home. And so those are some things that we're going to continue working in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Here, excellent. Okay, and so we'll move on to Board of Ed meetings scheduled. So I have a CREC meeting tomorrow at 11:30, Student Program and Services Committee on January 21st, Finance and Operation Committee before our next meeting on the 28th. Public comment. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Come on up, and may I remind you, you have a 5-minute limit. Okay, we'll move on. Are there any board comments? Janice?
Right here, there was a WEC meeting yesterday. It did not make the agenda, so I saved it for comment time. WEC's goal is that all Wethersfield children birth to 8 are healthy, developmentally successful learners and connected to the community. At the meeting yesterday, we met Carissa Peckrell, a social worker who is now the new prevention coordinator for the Social, Youth, and Senior Services. Her role is to bring WEC in our schools together, with this town department, with the Town Department of Youth Services, and to include all, including parents, in We Hope, which is the prevention program that we have a grant for. And just as a matter of part of her job is to do workshops, and tomorrow she will be doing a workshop on called QPR Gatekeeper Training, which is suicide prevention. I was looking at the site. It is in Newington, and I did not note exactly where in Newington, but it sounds like it's a very thorough training. WEC is looking for ways to collaborate in celebration of Wethersfield plays on both Global Play Day, February 5th, and on International Day of Play, June 11th. Please check out the WEC website in order to stay abreast of all that this great collaborative is up to. There's also a link to WEC on our Town of Wethersfield website, but they are looking for ideas. Always looking for ways to be community members. We also met Marissa Casarella from Glastonbury. She is the Y program coordinator for the Bell program that we heard about a little bit earlier. So that was really exciting to actually meet a person connected to that. Wethersfield has come to depend on the work of WEC. It's an integral part of so much that makes Wethersfield special. They're involved in coordinating with all of the town programs and Board of Ed. So they're really special, and I really think that if you have a chance to look at their website, it's a really good thing. You get a lot of information there.
Thank you. And that WEC meeting yesterday was superb. Most of our meetings are, but it was great. And when we have a great early childhood program, that's the foundation for a great school system. I say it all the time. And when these students are ready for school, and I'm not talking about sitting still and doing their work, I'm talking about them understanding socializing, which is what we talk about with the security ideas. And it's just so important for WEC to be a big part of us. Thanks, Janice. Okay, and we also have other public comments. Had to remember where we were. You have a public comment? Board comment. Yes, I'm sorry. Board comment.
Yeah, so besides contract negotiation season, budget season has to be my second part of the board, my second favorite part of being a board member. And as Michael mentioned earlier, that season is now upon us. I know that we're going to be asking all of you to dedicate a little bit more of your time and energy and resources in the next coming month, but I know you're all ready for it. You've been through this before. I know you're ready, willing, and able. So please keep an eye out on your phone or your email. I'll be reaching out to all of you to try to schedule some weekend budget workshop sessions in the upcoming weekends prior to having the budget hopefully passed by the town council in a manner that we would like to see it passed. So keep an eye out for correspondence from myself to plan those budget workshops.
Great pep talk. Thank you. Anyone else for board comments? Marjorie?
I have a bunch of things, but I wanted to first do a moment of silence for the communities in Los Angeles that are suffering from the current horrible fires that are happening there. And just to kind of put it in perspective, at last count, there were 8 schools severely damaged or destroyed, and the powerful Santa Ana winds are still raging, and they'll probably keep raging till after tomorrow. Just in Pasadena School District alone, 300 school employees lost their homes, 300 school employees just in one town, and overall, 100,000 people have been displaced. So families and staff are scrambling there to find housing and process their losses and trauma. It is just unimaginable, I think, if we thought of our community going through this and what kids who find their schools are kind of their center would like if they lost their home and their school, it's just horrifying. So we are thinking of them and hoping they can get through this difficult time and come back and as their communities, come back as a community soon. So maybe a moment of silence.
Yes.
Thank you. I just want to bring up a couple other things. The high school is having their 8th grade night on February 5th, which is one of my favorite nights, and I don't have any more kids that are going into the 8th grade night. It's hard to believe it's only the 3rd one, because I feel like it's been around for a while. But it's a great night where incoming kids who are going to be in 9th grade next year can get a look at the high school, and they go first to the auditorium, and they get spoken to by the principal about all the different programs and course offerings and that kind of thing, and then they move over to the gym where all the high school students volunteer that night to sit at tables and show them all the clubs and the great things they can do at the high school. And they also can get a tour. So I would encourage every 8th grade parent and family to go to this. They get so much out of it, and they really get a good look at the high school and all the positive things happening there. Another thing that's happening at the high school is they're picking out courses for next year soon, all the students there. And I would encourage parents to talk to their students about college courses they can get college credit for through the high school, because it really saves a ton of money. And there is a link to the high school course catalog, I guess you would say. We don't get a paper version anymore, so parents kind of have to take that extra step maybe to go find that on the website. But there are a lot of great classes. It's not just AP classes, it's ECE, which is different kinds of classes where it's UConn or Central Connecticut, and also community college class credit through just taking a finance class, a marketing class, personal finance, and I'm trying to think, accounting. You just take the class and you get community college credit. So you could get over a semester load of credits before you even leave, and it's a great way to get the kids just started on that track. And also the capstone presentations every year. This is the second year where the high school is requiring capstone presentations by the junior class, and in order to graduate. And so in April, the juniors are supposed to present like a 10-minute presentation about kind of basically defending what they've learned in high school or doing a certain project. And Krista Muzinskis is heading this up again, a second year doing this. And she is looking for community volunteers to help watch or be kind of the judges of these presentations. And there's usually 3 to 4 people per presentation that kind of, fills out kind of like how they think they did and maybe comments and questions. And I did it last year. I know Liz did it last year, and it was really, really rewarding seeing what these kids can do, and nerve-wracking for them to have to like present in front of people they don't know. But I think it's a really great growth opportunity, and I'm so glad to see what they've done at the high school with this. So if you have the time, Kristen Muzinskis, Muzinskis at weathersfield.me. It's on April 2nd for about 4 hours. I think trying to spread it out into one day. They do need community volunteers to help watch these and grade. And that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for filling us in on the high school there. Okay, anyone else for board comments? All right, I'd just like to mention that we're going to be throwing out a challenge to our 5th and 6th graders. The Town Council and the Board of Ed are leading a contest to find our kid mayor and kid chair again from each school. The contest begins soon in our elementary schools. Ken Lesser and I will be presenting the challenge with a presentation that explains the system of government we have here in Weathersfield, highlighting the Town Council and the Board of Ed. We hope to inspire and challenge and teach our 5th and 6th graders to tell how they would run our town government. What would they change and what would they add to make Weathersfield an even better community to live in and to go to schools? This board is very excited to have the winners for the Kid Chair sit right at the dais for a meeting and read their award-winning essay. Each elementary school has a meeting to show off their award-winning Kid Chair. So please join me as we cheer our young students and our future leaders to take up this challenge and give us their best ideas and efforts. We can't wait. And just one other reminder, our community survey in our superintendent search is out. And please have your voice heard. It closes on midnight on Friday. So thank you. All right, Angelica isn't with us tonight. I miss her. Is there any unfinished business tonight? I don't think so. So we have an executive session tonight for the discussion and possible action on the CSEA-SEIU Local 2001 Secretarial Clerical Paraeducator Tutor Contract. May I have a motion for our executive session?
Motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Objections? Abstentions? That motion passes. So I'm not adjourning. A great, thank you very much for coming tonight. And by the way, a great saying for this Board of Ed, because it fits it perfectly, is teamwork makes a dream work. So thank you for joining us tonight. And our next Board of Ed meeting is January 28th. So to all of you, a good night. I'm not adjourning.